Most of you guys know who this guy is. He's on all of the social media sites, but I believe, and I haven't done research into all of his social media sites, but I believe this is his biggest site on TikTok. His name is Quinn Pratt. I'm sure that you've seen his videos at some point in time. Well, I posted a video to Instagram talking about migrant workers and jobs, and he left the following comment. You answered your own question, my boy. The, quote, jobs Americans don't want, end quote, are the jobs that pay next to nothing. That is why Americans don't want those jobs. Hence, why a lot of people are upset that illegals come here and work for so little. Hence, they are taking our jobs. Now, I'm going to give Quinn the benefit of the doubt and say that he's never seen any of my content because there's no reason in particular why he should have seen it. Perhaps when I had my first TikTok account at 1.5 million, I was a little bit more out in the public eye than I am at the current point in time. But I'm not going to say that he should have known all of the things that I've said or talked about when it comes to this particular subject. But he's wrong. He's wrong. Farmers have been trying to pay more wages in many instances, but I'm going to talk about my own personal experience, which I've talked about many, many times before. Before I retired in February of 2018, I worked in the landscape industry for 26 years. The last 6 of those 26 years, I owned my own business. And I was a small company. It was myself and a couple of guys from here in town, born and bred, a couple of college guys that worked with me. Prior to that, I spent 20 years working for some of the biggest companies in the Chicagoland area. Companies that were loaded with undocumented immigrants. At one point in time, at the height of production, I had a few hundred people under my control in the southwest suburbs, and almost all of them were undocumented immigrants. Now, you say they're jobs that Americans don't want because they don't pay enough money. 25 years ago in the landscape industry, quarter of a century ago, we were offering, these are union 150 jobs. We were offering $22 an hour to start to drive a Bobcat with no experience. You got membership in the local 150 union. You got health and welfare benefit. Your health insurance was covered through the union. You got a contract that gave you annual pay increases, paid holidays, paid vacation, and certain rules in regard to daily engagement. Like if I woke up and saw rain and I didn't call you guys in time and you made it to the job site, I still got to pay you for 4 hours on the day. $22 an hour with a really good benefits package for no experience for Bobcat operators. 17 to 19 bucks an hour for foremen. Landscape construction. I didn't do maintenance, I did construction. Landscape construction foreman with experience. And anywhere from $10 to $13 an hour for landscape laborers with no experience whatsoever. And all of them got union benefits. They were all members of the union. They got health insurance covered. They got annual paid increase. And that was 25 years ago. And we could not find American-born men to do it. And I'm not just talking about white guys. Nobody from this country would do it. Hispanic gentlemen that were born in this country would show up and take these jobs and last less than a day. White guys, I've seen white guys leave at lunch. This is too hard. So it's not always a case where Americans don't want to do the jobs. But even if those jobs were paying a livable wage, even if those jobs were paying 15, 20, 25 bucks an hour, you going to go do it? No, of course not. White guys, American-born guys, whether they're white or Hispanic, American-born workers don't want to do this work. They just fucking don't. They don't want to work in the meat processing plants. They don't want to work in the fields. They don't want to work in the landscape industry. They don't want to work in any of the industries where Hispanic workers that have migrated to this country have become the dominant workforce. And what the funniest part about it is that in these deeply red states like Florida and Texas, they're the ones that rely the most on these migrant workers being out there in the fields and being in the homes of the Republican elected officials as nannies, and being in the hotels where these politicians stay when they sleep with their mistresses, and washing the plates after these workers. And you guys say that we're the ones that want slave labor. No. We want jobs to be cheap for these workers. No, we want these workers to get a livable wage too. And even if we were able to legislate a livable wage and benefits into these jobs, guys like you still wouldn't take the jobs. I know, I lived in this field. It was next to impossible to get white American-born workers to come do the work that we had been doing for years. But the migrant Hispanic workers, man, they stepped up and did the job with damn near perfection and without a single fucking complaint. They took the 22 an hour and the union benefits. They took the 18 an hour, the 13 an hour with the union benefits, the health and welfare, the paid vacation, the guaranteed raises every year. When guys like you wouldn't do it. And I'm sorry, I don't know your work history. I'm saying guys like you because it is usually people from your side of the political aisle, guys that look like you and I, ironically enough, that just don't want to do these jobs. They don't want to do any of the hard jobs that this country has historically relied on migrant workers to do. So maybe you had a hard job at some point in time. I know that you're probably doing a pretty good buck off of content creation. That's how I make my money too after 26 years of being in the landscape industry. But you're wrong.